Hello and welcome to Acacia Cat, and today we're playing Loomian Legacy and Roblox. And we're not playing it, we're talking about ideas I have for this game or future games in this franchise, because it's literally the game's called Loomian Legacy Veils of Shadows, not just Loomian Legacy, which makes me think there will be a sequel or prequel game at some point. So, yeah. Let's talk about some of these game ideas I have. Well, first off, I wasn't expecting any of these to happen until like Loomian Legacy Veils of Shadows is actually fully complete. By which I mean, if we finish adding the Elite Four, maybe they'll start working on post-game and stuff. But I don't really feel like there needs to be as much post-game stuff, and they just make like a new game. So just some mechanical ideas, if you go allow trading between these games, or even the ability to just transfer your save over. Like, well, I mean, it's like the save will be in both devices because of the fun thing that Loomian Legacy needs Wi-Fi to play is on Roblox. So just say make a sequel game on Roblox. I could honestly see your save from Loomian Legacy Veils of Shadows being able to transfer over to this game and then back over. And it'll just be instantly transfer when you go into this game. So it'll be like a character save. So you can make a new character to play the new game with, or you can play with the old character, but there'll be some restrictions. First off, Loomian Legacy has a level cap. If any of you don't know that. It's level 45 currently, as I'm making this video. And anyway, so here's some things to mention. So let's just say, after every battle feature, your level cap increases for what level Loomians you can bring over. So like, let's just say you have a team of all like 6 level 100s, and those are like the main Loomians you have, and like a few weaker ones. And you start playing the sequel game on the same save, you won't be able to use any of your level 100s because the level cap will be like 35 or something until you beat the first gym. Makes sense. And I think level 35 is when all the starters evolve in Loomian Legacy, so the highest things can really, strongest things you really have is just start Zulong, basically. If that makes sense. But yeah. Anyway. So yeah. That's kind of how trading could work between games. Like, you can trade to whatever you want over, but you can't put anything in your party that's above, the level of, level capped it is in the game right now. Other game. The new one that's being developed. So you could treat the second Loomian Legacy game like it's either like a post game for the first one where you just can't bring over your powerful stuff, or it can be like a totally new game. Which I feel like would be kind of a cool idea. Now, of course, the sequel game on Loomian Legacy and Roblox will most likely not take place in the same region as the one in Pokemon Brick Bronze. Because, Pokemon Brick Bronze wasn't fully completed story-wise until the game got destroyed, destroyed by Nintendo, but before that, it was, almost complete at least. So, major parts of the plot have been finished already, kind of close to the end of the game, like the Elite Four and stuff. They're about to be developed. But yeah. So, but in Loomian Legacy right now, you're starting to add areas that were in the other, kind of like the starting areas from what I've heard were very similar, and from what I remember are very similar to Loomian Brick Bronze. But then once you hit around Route 4, it changes up a lot. So Route 4, 5, 6 might have been a little bit similar to its original route, because that's what I think maybe the daycare was in Brick Bronze. I'm not sure, because I never got that far. 7 is the junkyard, so I don't think that was ever in Brick Bronze. And then 8 is the UMV, and I heard that was in Brick Bronze, and they just returned it. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah. So what I'm thinking is that the game's slowly going back towards the Brick Bronze sort of route system from being some unique stuff. Because what I've heard the next city is going to be is apparently the hub city in Brick Bronze, or the place where everyone hangs out from what originally would hang out. And yeah. So that's what I'm thinking anyway, that's what I'm thinking this new area is going to be. It's from what I've heard, it's gonna probably be a returning area from Brick Bronze, or with some modifications, of course. Anyway, so I mentioned all that stuff. Oh, it's gonna be in that that's probably the next. That's gonna be the next update, major update at least. From what I've heard, there was probably be a Valentine's Day event dropping today. But yeah. Anyway, So the next suggestion on this list. So saying that Rick Brown's Pokemon, yeah. So anyway, because these two kind of games are kind of getting closer to each other. What would be interesting actually is there's another game on Roblox called Monsters of Furia or whatever. I think it's called Monsters of Furia. I know it's Monsters of in like an East starting world and something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I think Monsters of Furia could actually, work. It could actually be, maybe developers of Pokemon Book Bronze could maybe buy it out. The game's been on Roblox for, I think it's one of the 2012 Roblox games or something. That was when it came out because of like the original build quality, but they still update it to this day, which is the cool thing. I like when old Roblox games still get updated. And yeah, Brick Bron. Anyway, Pokemon Brick Bronze apparently came out around the same time as well as this game. So, most like developer teams most likely know each other exist. I could actually see Monsters of Furia being put in the Loomian Legacy. It's like what I mean is like, anyway. So what I mean is like I guess you actually see some creatures from that game being put in Loomian Legacy as Loomians that you can catch. And make things more interesting. I guess the Monsters of Furia adding Loomians as new creatures that you play as in that game. While also having maybe Lumi centers and stuff, and like battle arenas being more based off Loomian Legacy. Which could be interesting seeing that those two games become really similar to each other. If that makes sense. So like what I mean is like, I can honestly see both of these game series actually combining up and kind of like teaming up together, which would be interesting, if that makes sense. Because I can see things from that game, and also another thing about Monsters of Furia, as I didn't play too much of the game, but I was able to fully evolve one line of creatures to play as, and I collected I have a lot of things collected. Anyway. Well, some of the interesting things in that game are, instead of calling it evolution, they call it mutations, which I feel like actually might be a better option to call, instead of calling them evolutions, call them mutations if this deal is to happen, because of Loomian Legacy having still calling their evolution just like in Pokemon, that could make Nintendo angry, so if they combine the Monsters of Furia, well, not combining, like, combine each of their games having references to each other's games, actually having creatures from each other's games sort of situation, I could honestly see them changing evolution to the mutations, which means that I feel like when, make it so like Nintendo is even less on their tail. But yeah. Anyway, those are just some of my first few suggestions. Now let's kind of go into the more weirder suggestions. So, this is something I'm going to brush over a lot, because I want to make this own video, and it's not just fully relating to Loomian Legacy, but I have the concept for a tabletop role-playing game that's very similar to something like Pokemon, where you have, like, your Pokemon-like stats, but also include energy, because I prefer Loomian Legacy's energy system over PowerPoints. If that makes sense. It'll kind of be like a tabletop role-playing game mix of something like a game like Pokemon or Loomian Legacy. So it's very unique in how the game plays. Like, the base rules would just be like a few homemade creatures I would use. But I get honestly feel like making deals with like Loomian Legacy or Monsters of Furia or even Pokemon at some point that add their creatures to the tabletop role-playing game. I'll make its own video on this idea, but basically a Loomian Legacy tabletop role-playing game would be kind of interesting and how that could work. Though I haven't done much on that sort of genre of sub-game, this whole genre of tabletop role-playing games. And finally, my book I was waiting for a while before I would make Buyer's Guide sort of video is finally here, and just have to read through more of it before I make that video. So this is kind of like the holdover video, and a video I've been wanting to make as well. So yeah. I like how I'm just flexing all my boxes right now in the background footage that I completely forgot I did during that. Yeah, but yeah, I really need to clear out my boxes. So I've been trying to trade random stuff to people, but they always seem to want to trade stuff back. But yeah. Anyway, so now that's out of the way. I can see a few Loomian Legacy sequel games on Roblox actually at some point, but if Loomian Legacy wants to expand, I could honestly see them expanding the Steam or like the App Store or whatever, or even the different consoles. Like this is what I mean. So, I can honestly see after Loomian Legacy fails or Shadows and maybe make another 1 or 2 more sequel games in Roblox, I could honestly see, the next game being, what's it called? I can honestly see the next game being, what's the game called again? On like either the Apple App Store, or, like the Google Play Store, or like Steam, maybe even on the console as a digital download. Of course, and like I'd say that from the freaking mobile computer and console. I feel like each game and each if they could somehow make a deal with Roblox or whatever to allow them to transfer data from the Roblox to, these other sites and then back. And we can see like my idea of how you can transfer Loomians back and forth. But otherwise, then we wouldn't do that. If that makes sense. But yeah, anyway. So here's how I can see for these 3 games. I'll make them different from each other just because they're on different platforms. And the audiences on each of these platforms are different from each other. But on like mobile, the game will be these mobile players are like will play for a little bit until they may spend money, they may not spend money, and then they'll leave. So you're gonna have to this game's gonna be designed to keep players into the game, while also at the same time of keeping players into the game. Its other main purpose is not just to keep players into the game, but also to spend some money before they leave, because that's how the mobile market works. You have to make your games free. Because that's like, we'll play them otherwise. I don't know why it's the case. I find that really stupid. But so this game will kind of keep people playing the game a little bit more longer. So events would have to be more frequent in this game. And because it's a mobile game, the game doesn't have to be fully complete when they release it. So I can see parts of it being added over on later and later to the story mode, with updates having to be a little bit more frequently to keep the mobile players happy. Then. And remember, trading could happen between all these other games, as long as Roblox allows it, but between mobile, console, and PC, it could happen. But between Roblox and all these other platforms, I don't know if it could happen. But yeah, then you would have PC's game would have to be fully complete when it's done. You wouldn't have to have any game passes, all the features would be free in the game, because when you buy this game, you're paying $30 instead of it being free. So when you're buying it, you're paying for all the all the stuff like the rally charm and stuff like that right away. But that's probably kind of the price of the game, which is why it's $30. And then you guys get to play for the entire game. We kind of similar to Loomian Legacy and Roblox if it was completed. And the third game will be the console one, which will be similar to how the PC one will work. But of course, the controls would have to be different, if that makes sense. So yeah, like the control differences, I would. Of course, it'd be on consoles, so yeah. And second off, the game had to be fully complete, but like, yeah, I can see there being DLCs added to the game, like a DLC that would be like a small sub-region. Like, not like a full-on region, but like it's a different region, but it's like not fully complete. Like, it's a different region, but it's like not the full different region. Or maybe this different region can be part of the, what is it called, Loomian Legacy Veils of Shadows map or something that got recreated, or something like that. Well, those are most of my main suggestions for this game. But there's one more, way down the line, so remember it's very way down the line for going on like mobile consoles and PC, switching from Roblox to those devices. Does that mean that Roblox is starting to suffer as a platform, which is not looking like it's doing right now? Or the developers want to kind of branch out after they made like 2 or 3 spin-off games in Roblox in this franchise, then yeah. But the thing that's farthest down the line I can see is if it gets super popular on these other devices. I can see honestly Nintendo buying out Loomian Legacy, and then all the Loomians become Pokemon, which would be kind of like a weird ending to this franchise, because then it'll just be part of Pokemon, and the developers could at least not work on full-on Pokemon games instead of making fan games. But yeah, this is the end of the video. Remember to like and subscribe to Cage Cat on YouTube. And tell me in the comments what you think of all these suggestions, ideas, and peace.